So as the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee is about to start to look into the Mkhwanazi allegations, it seems Julius Malema has been triggering some red flags. In this video, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, and if you stay with me all the way till my biblical reaction, from now on going forward, you'll be looking and seeing different from many people, and I hope we are proven wrong. But we need to be wide awake because this is our country and we committed that South Africa will prosper. So if you're ready, press like and let's go. So let's start with what Julius said 3 weeks ago. Listen very carefully.
We're not going to be told by Mkhwanazi what must happen, what must not happen. If we are looking for him, we have to find him. And if he's not going to make himself available, we're going to have to summon him. He's the one who started this mess, and he's going to have to take responsibility. He's not going to tell us about commission this, commission that, and all of that. We don't know what commission is doing. We're not interfering with the commission, and the commission must never interfere with us. Mkhwanazi must be summoned to this committee. This ad hoc committee, it's established because Mkhwanazi took his own time to say the things he said, and is not going to tell us now that he's not available.
Okay, Mkhwanazi had sent them a letter saying, I'm sorry, I'm already booked. Can I please come when I finish with Madlanga? He didn't say he wasn't coming. I'm glad that he's standing up for the independence of Parliament. We are agreed there. But why talk like Mkhwanazi has done something wrong? He's the one who started this mess. This is a mess? Or is this a good thing? What is going on? Now, I'm going to take you to the second red flag. Before Mkhwanazi gives his testimony at the Madlanga Commission, what takes place? This.
I think General Mkhwanazi is ready to commence with his testimony, and for that purpose, may I request that he be duly sworn in.
General, please state your full names for the record.
My name is Glynnis Breytenbach.
Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, General.
Thank you, Chair.
I just wanted to remind you that this was not a street corner conversation. It's not a gossip. It's not a discussion with a journalist. This is how the commission started. Sworn testimony. Now, what happened on day 2?
And we are ready to start. General.
You are still under your oath, General. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You are still under your oath, General. Thank you, sir. This is what happened on the second day, on the third day. It means to lie, to exaggerate, to add things that don't exist is a crime. Now, this is what Mkhwanazi said as part of his testimony. And it was the smallest of all his allegations, but he made it under oath. Take a listen.
Commissioners, Ms. Kohler-Barnard is a long-serving member of Parliament who ought to understand what belongs where in Parliament. And I can confirm, Commissioners, that she is appointed by her own political party, which is a Democratic Alliance, to be a member of both the Portfolio Committee on Police that deals with the open account, as well as being a member of the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence, which deals with the COVID funds. So she's better positioned to call the department to come in account at the right platform. But she's one of the leaders in our legislature that is participating in both breaking the law as well as fueling these malicious attacks that are happening within crime intelligence and ultimately directed at Khumalo as the head of that intelligence. As an example, on page 61 It's a statement that she released in her capacity as a member of the Democratic Alliance, which I'm going to quote these two paragraphs, Commissioners, on record. The Democratic Alliance is calling for an immediate and thorough investigation into the recent purchase of a multi-million rand commercial property by the Crime Intelligence Division of the South African Police Service in Bria in Durban. This purchase, approved by high-ranking officials within Crime Intelligence, raises serious concern due to the vast amount of taxpayers' money involved, especially as it follows a previous highly questionable property acquisition in Pretoria to the tune of 22.7 million rand, a matter that the Inspector General of Intelligence confirmed is now being investigated. So what we see here is a person who has a legal obligation to keep the mouth shut and go to the Joint Standing Committee and present and ventilate on this and hold the Divisional Commission accountable. But she does not use that platform. She goes publicly and discloses this. The risk of this, Commissioners, is that it forces the members that are within Crime Intelligence in the public space to defend themselves by divulging all the secrets of the state that they are aware of, the irregularities within Crime Intelligence that ranges from the police to the political parties, which the members are not supposed to, according to their vetting and their classification of that information. The platform they have to vent that is within the Inspector General of Intelligence and Parliament, Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. So that's why a provincial commissioner like myself, Malema Mkhwanazi, I'm not invited to that Joint Standing Committee because I've got no business with that budget. It is the Divisional Commission of Crime Intelligence that has an access to the Joint Standing Committee to go and account, because he's the one that is classified to be there.
Okay, so what does he say? He says, under oath, he's alleging that Kohler-Barnard crossed the line by using secret information that should be limited to the intelligence portfolio to release a statement in public, and this now forces the intelligence guys to have to answer her in public instead of in the portfolio committee of intelligence. All right, this carelessness then fuels a problem. So he doesn't say she's in with Kat Matlala. He doesn't say she's in with capturing the state. He doesn't say all of that. He says, he actually used the word keep mouth shut. So the allegation is you ran your mouth, but problem is you blurred the line between secret information and information you can use in your political statements or public statements. Right. So then the ad hoc committee comes together to discuss, should she recuse herself? Now, she will not be recusing herself from Parliament. That's not what's being discussed. Only recuse herself from the ad hoc committee because she is implicated. The discussion then comes up, should she recuse herself from the ad hoc committee that will be grilling Mkhwanazi?
Next matter of members of this committee whose names may be mentioned at the proceedings of the ad hoc committee or at the proceedings of the commission. I'm using the word mention guardedly so that we do not use the word implicate. Like I said at the opening, there is the name of Honorable Diane Kohler-Barnard, who is an alternate member of this committee that was mentioned at the commission. And Honorable Cameron will confirm that I called him and said I was not going to take any media interviews on the matter until the Democratic Alliance has discussed it and decided how it wishes to move forward. So I'm going to hand over to the DA to make a presentation on their attitude on this matter before I allow committee members to express themselves.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Yes, it is so that General Mkhwanazi mentioned the Honourable Kohler-Barnard, and so certainly there is a little bit of room for a perceived conflict, and perceptions are important, we agree. However, it's our view that it would set a very dangerous precedent to just ask the Honourable Kohler-Barnard to withdraw because she has been mentioned by General Mkhwanazi. It would be the easiest thing in the world for any of the witnesses at the Commission to mention any politicians that they felt like mentioning, simply to ensure that they then could not sit on this committee and have to deal with them when they came to this committee. It's the easiest way in the world to avoid being confronted. So I think it's a very dangerous precedent. Currently, there is no evidence of a conflict, except what General Mkhwanazi has said. So I propose that we deal with it as follows, Chair, in order to be fair to everybody, that we call Mkhwanazi to the committee, as we plan to do, and that you, Chairperson, instruct him to deal with the narrow issue relating to the matters that caused him to mention the Honourable Kohler-Barnard, and that as a committee we deal with that narrow issue first. If there's evidence of a conflict, obviously the Honourable Kohler-Barnard must withdraw. If after we've dealt with the issue there is no evidence of a conflict, then that matter should be put to bed, and Honourable Kohler-Barnard should rejoin this committee to carry on with the rest of his evidence. I think that would satisfy any perception of a conflict, and it would safeguard the integrity of the work of the committee. We should also bear in mind, Chairperson, that Honourable Kohler-Barnard is an alternate member. She's not going to be able to participate as fully as the other members, and the outcome of this committee is not solely reliant upon her views. In other legal opinions in similar matters, those points have carried a lot of weight. A, that she's not a fully participative member, and B, that the outcome of this committee does not rely solely on her views. So that is what I propose, Chairperson, that we do to deal with this possibly perceived conflict.
Yeah.
She will not be present for that part of the sitting. And once we have determined whether or not there is a conflict, that will determine whether she returns to the committee or doesn't return.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Glynnis Breytenbach hits both two birds with one stone. On the one side, she is defending her colleague in the DA, but without compromising the legality of the process by saying she'll step out for this. So she is suggesting a part recusal. Recuse only for this part. This makes all the sense in the world. You are protecting your colleague, but you are also being legally sound. Let's hear what the ANC Chief Whip says.
Honourable members, you have heard the presentation of the DA. Can I then rotate the ANC?
As I listen very carefully to Honourable Breytenbach, I'm very concerned with what appears to me to be a path that is inviting us into, because she makes the point that seeks to suggest that there might be an intention by certain people, and in this case, because we're talking about Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi to be Mkhwanazi, to call out certain names merely to exclude them in the participation in the ad hoc committee. Now, I have a challenge with that, and I have a challenge in particular because I was hoping that all of us were following in one way or the other the presentation by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi in relation to the matter in question, the role that he explained to have been played by the Honourable Kohler-Barnard. Now, when the suggestion is made that we are possibly becoming, we are likely to become victim of bad people who are going to mention our names or any of our colleagues merely to exclude them in the process, I think that position is predicated on a wrong approach, on a wrong premise. I don't agree with that approach.
However, I do agree with the fact that when your name has been mentioned, it's inevitable that you are supposed to be given a platform to state your own side of the story. And in this case, you are then going to become one of the witnesses that must appear before the ad hoc committee. So I don't agree with the view that says, have Mkhwanazi today, as I understood to be the proposal, have Mkhwanazi today, listen to him, and immediately make a determination upon listening to him whether there is substantial evidence to justify the exclusion of the honorable member from the ad hoc committee. I would prefer that we take a principled position in which we say, you are mentioned, and a particular evidence, if whether that evidence is accepted or not accepted, has been laid against your name. You can't be a referee and a player. You can't serve on the committee at which somebody is coming to raise concerns about your conduct. But I don't agree with an approach that says you must be given a priority, because that's the implication of what is being said is that it means we must listen to Mkhwanazi and listen to Kohler-Barnard, Honorable Kohler-Barnard. Because I can't understand why would we be only listening to Mkhwanazi and making a decision that is wrong or right, is evidence or not, without having cross-reference to the person to whom the allegations are leveled against. So I don't think that is the sequence of witnesses we have agreed we are going to follow as we deal with the matters before the ad hoc committee. So it is on those bases that I think we need to take a principled position. There's no harm in us agreeing that as a matter of principle, you have automatically become a candidate to appear before this committee. So you can't play both, which is a player as well as a referee in this case. Never mind whether at the end of this process, evidence will be qualified to suggest that we have acted wrongly or rightly. We've got to treat all witnesses almost in the similar way in terms of the role they can and cannot play in the ad committee of parliament. Thanks.
Okay, so the ANC disagrees with the DA and says no, she must have a full recusal. The DA says she must have a part recusal. Now, listen to Julius Malema.
Thank you so much. Can we move to the EFF?
Thank you very much, Chair. The EFF does not agree that the honourable member, Kohler-Barnard, must withdraw herself on the basis of being mentioned.
She was not mentioned. She was implicated under oath.
Not any evidence being laid.
Evidence was literally led when Mkhwanazi said this under oath.
That's number one. Number two, I don't even know why this matter finds itself on our table now. Because it can be that because our member was mentioned in the commission, we must recuse herself. And then when they come to our committee,
it's because it was done under oath.
Our member doesn't get mentioned. They even say perhaps on a hindsight we realize it was not necessary to mention him in a manner or her in a manner we did. There is no matter before you. So you can't reduce this committee to be a subcommittee of the commission.
Absolutely you can't, but you also can't ignore statements made under oath.
That everything else that is happening in the commission must happen in our committee. There is a commission for whatever reason. There is this other committee for whatever reason. So it can't be that a person just gets mentioned loosely and then we get overwhelmed.
She was not mentioned loosely. There was an allegation. It was specific. It was under oath. It was not loose.
There's still a lot of people who are going there. And Honorable Breytenbach is correct. There's still a lot of people who are going there. We'll sponsor your name there.
If you sponsor a name and tell someone to go and lie under oath, it's called a crime. Under oath, so help me God. It's called perjury. It's called a crime.
And the fact that she was not mentioned, she was mentioned in the press conference, and then the committee happened after the press conference. Therefore, they don't want to exclude her. When a testimony was given, the committee was already there. So we're talking about her being mentioned while the committee was in existence to tell us about the press.
Completely irrelevant. There is a statement under oath that implicates a member of the committee who is supposed to grill Mkhwanazi.
Conference which happened before the testimony in the commission to dismiss an honorable member. Honorable Kohler-Barnard must take a conscious decision herself. If she so feels that, you know what, in the meantime, let me take a back seat because I don't know where, that in her own conscience, I don't know where this thing will lead to. But for you to take a name of a member and put it on the table and discuss it the way you are discussing it, even when it is not put by anyone before you on the table, that your member is conflicted, and then here is an area of conflict. And none of us is speaking about a conflict because recusal must be on the basis of conflict. No one says, here is the conflict.
We got the conflict. Mkhwanazi implicated her in his testimony. That is the conflict.
No one can establish the conflict, but we are readily available to go to get the member. Even we have no evidence before us, even when our member is not mentioned before our committee, and even when we look at the issue, none of us is pointing at conflict of interest.
Her own colleague has already agreed to the conflict.
So I'm very sorry, I'm not part of such a arrangement where rights of people get humiliated and violated the way we want to do it.
Except that you have been humiliating Mkhwanazi from the get-go.
It's wrong. I disagree, Chair.
Here's the question I want to ask. What's going on here? We know that politically, Julius Malema will agree with the DA if it's to hurt the ANC. But now here, Julius is not even agreeing with the DA. The DA said part-recusal. Julius Malema is going over and above the DA to defend Kohler-Barnard. Why would Julius defend Kohler-Barnard more than Kohler-Barnard's party is defending Kohler-Barnard? Is it because Julius is being very nice? Why is Julius going over and above the call of duty to make sure that the door of recusal is closed? Is it because he's trying to keep Kohler-Barnard in? Or is he making sure that the door is closed so that no one else is ever asked to be recused? I don't know. There could be various reasons. But this is what I will say. I will not be surprised that Julius Malema already knows that his name is going to come up and is closing this door of recusal so that when his name is mentioned, the door is already closed. Otherwise, why attack Mkhwanazi as starting this mess and he must just come and going on like he's done something wrong, and now minimizing his whole commission testimony and acting like it was just a roadside gossip? I'm not saying Kohler-Barnard is guilty. Of course, Kohler-Barnard already, I can think of a defense. There's been so much corruption going on that I wanted to do my job as a parliamentarian, as exposing it, not being aware that the information I'm being fed may be coming from sources with malicious intent. No South African citizen will be angry at her for that. But Mkhwanazi constitutionally has a right to administrative action that is lawful, reasonable, and procedurally fair. It is unreasonable for Mkhwanazi to sit before Kohler-Barnard and be grilled by Kohler-Barnard on this matter. It is procedurally unfair for that to happen. So what the DA is agreeing to by saying part recusal, what the ANC is agreeing to, full recusal, what the MK is agreeing to, full recusal, is reasonable and would make it procedurally fair. The only one who is unreasonable or procedurally unfair is Julius on behalf of Kohler-Barnard. You and I know Julius is not fighting tooth and nail for Kohler-Barnard. So the question is, who is he fighting for? Why would he want Mkhwanazi's constitutional right to just administrative action, which all our body of law shows that it applies to court, but to every other sitting according to how much impact it has? This has very high impact, so what is being raised is reasonable. Why would Julius fight for Kohler-Barnard harder than Breytenbach is fighting for Kohler-Barnard? Except that he's not fighting for Kohler-Barnard, he's either fighting for himself or one of his colleagues using Kohler-Barnard. The Constitutional Court in 2010 in Enrico Burnett versus Absa Bank spoke about this. It said, in all these situations, the judicial officer must ordinarily recuse himself or herself. The apprehension of bias principle reflects the fundamental principle of our Constitution that courts must be independent and impartial. And fundamental to our judicial system is that courts must not only be independent and impartial, but they must also be seen to be independent and impartial. Now, I'm aware that this is not a court case, it's an ad hoc committee in Parliament, but how important the matter is that you apply something that reflects what is required from Paja or wherever it is that carries the constitutional principle of just administrative action. So, this is an ad hoc committee over a serious matter. It would make sense that this applies. They must be seen to be independent and impartial. Never mind that they must be independent and impartial. We cannot watch Kohler-Barnard grilling Mkhwanazi about anything on this matter because of what he has already said about her under oath. Is she guilty? No, that's not what we're saying. Is she leaving Parliament? That's not what we're saying. But Julius Malema, he's not fighting for Kohler-Barnard. He's fighting either for himself or one of his colleagues. Mark this video. You will come back and say, you were so right. If I see a third red flag, that's it. I'm done. I know in advance that Julius Malema is up to something. He is hiding something. Amos 5:10, my biblical reaction. They hate the one who rebukes in the gate, and they abhor the one who speaks uprightly. Mkhwanazi is still gonna take heat. His ad hoc committee testimony is gonna be flames. If you think you've seen anything with reasonable Madlanga Commission, you ain't seen nothing yet, because they hate the one who rebukes in the gate, and they abhor the one who speaks uprightly. So it's gonna get hot in Parliament, but it's good either way. No man can serve two masters, for either he'll love the one or hate the other, or he'll despise the one and honor the other. You cannot serve God and Karl Marx. Let me hear your thoughts below. It's getting hot in here. Shoo. Let's make history together.